Cutting your hair super short is awesome. It was the dream. But this may drive you a little mad.
This video is not sponsored. But you can show your support by purchasing my handmade in Canada prints I designed at amandabickett.com.
Welcome back, my beautiful friends. If you're watching this video, you're probably debating whether or not you want to cut your hair very short. I have had my hair extraordinarily short. I've had it less than an inch long. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of my insights, some of the benefits, and some of the downsides of having very short hair to hopefully help you make your decision a little bit easier. I kind of jumped into having my hair very short overnight. It wasn't something that I planned. I didn't watch YouTube videos about it. I just kind of did it, and that's kind of my personality. So these are some of the things that I wish that I maybe considered beforehand. If you're watching this and you want to cut your hair into a pixie cut, if you want to cut your hair very short, no matter what I say, if you're like me, you're gonna do it anyway. But maybe this video will bring you comfort in your decision making. One of the things I didn't consider when cutting my hair was my posture. All of a sudden, when you don't have your hair to cover your back anymore, all of a sudden I became like really noticeable of like how hunchy I was and how much I slouched. When you have long hair and you slouch, no one can see it. No one can really tell how much you slouch. I felt like a little turtle, just like, I just became really aware of this. And you know what, this can actually be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your outlook of life. All of a sudden you may say, hey, I realize my posture for the very first time isn't very good. I should work on this. And then you work on it, and then you straighten out your posture, and maybe you never would have if you kept your hair super long. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on you. Maybe you like slouching. You know what, I do too. It's comfortable. But yeah, it really depends on you. When you have a pixie cut, all of a sudden your face is on display. Like there's nothing else to look at other than your face. This can be very striking, but also a little bit intimidating. Maybe there's a feature on your face that maybe you're a little bit sensitive about, and all of a sudden it's there for the world to see. For me personally, with my hair gone, I felt like there was like a part of me that felt maybe less feminine because my hair was all gone. So maybe I felt like I had to start wearing makeup or like wear earrings, which I don't usually do. This is very much conditioning and like training to think that your hair is like, my mom used to always say, your hair is your beauty. And I don't remember if she was upset when I cut my hair off. I don't really remember. She's not really surprised by anything that I do anymore. I've done a lot of stuff to my hair, so like my mother isn't crying over my hair choices. She knows that I'm always doing something weird with my hair. Weird. So all of a sudden I felt like I needed to change the way that I dress. I'm usually kind of not a tomboy, but like I dress comfy. When you don't have hair, maybe you might feel like you need to change the way that you dress because of the way people treat you. And this never happened to me, but this could be another, I guess, downside of having short hair depending on your perspective. All of these are kind of like depending on your perspective and like what kind of person you are and like your outlook on life. So take it all with a grain of salt. But something that could happen is, and this happened to people I know that have really short hair, people might mistake you for a guy. And like that just might happen sometimes because generally men tend to wear their hair shorter very often and women tend to wear their hair longer. It's just like something that we do in society. It's just something that happens. So this never actually happened to me because when my hair was in a pixie cut, I was pregnant. Generally men don't tend to get pregnant. So for the most part, I never had any mix-ups, but even if it did, I almost wish that it happened because I feel like that would just be such a fun story. I think it would just be really hilarious and it would either be like super awkward and uncomfortable or just like a really funny thing that happened and maybe like person would become like your best friend or something. It's just a fun thing, not necessarily a bad thing, but for some people it could be a bad thing if people think that you're a guy. This kind of goes with all of a sudden your features being on display, and that is you might notice things about yourself that you never noticed before. When you have a lot of hair, maybe when you look yourself, you don't really analyze your face too much, but like once your hair is all gone, maybe you like start noticing things you didn't notice before, like one of your ears are bigger than the other or something, or that your face isn't like as symmetrical as you thought, and like depending on how obsessive you are about certain things, like this may drive you a little mad. I didn't personally experience this because when my hair came off, like all of a sudden I was pregnant, so I was really focused on like my baby and not so much on what I looked like. So I feel like that was a really fun or like interesting time for me not to have any hair because I was so not focused on my hair at all and mostly focused on my baby. But yeah, so depending on you and what's going on in your life, all of a sudden you might be noticing things that you didn't notice before about yourself. It could be good things, bad things, I don't know. Depends on you. I keep saying that, it really depends. These bad things that I'm listing, like, it really is like relative to you and what kind of person you are, your perspectives, your outlooks, what you deem as good or bad. And like, it's kind of like with anything, things are kind of only good or bad because we label them personally as so, but what's like bad for me might be good for someone else. What's good for me might be bad for someone else. Everything I'm listing, you might be thinking like, that's not that a bad thing, that's a good thing. And it is, because you believe it. When your hair is shorter, you might feel a little bit colder. And this can be a good thing or a bad thing, but it really depends on where you live. If you live in a hot place, it might actually be a good thing. If you live in a cold place, it might kind of be sort of a bad thing. But this just depends. For me personally, it wasn't like a super bad thing, but it was something that I noticed. I was colder all of a sudden. I had to start wearing hats. It was the gateway into me loving hats. It's what made me start wearing wide brim hats, and it was a really fun experience. But that's kind of like a positive of short hair, which we will get into. The downside of having short hair is if you want to grow your hair out at some point, it is kind of awkward to grow out a pixie cut. If you plan on keeping your hair short forever, then this isn't an issue. But if you're planning to grow it out at some point, there are some awkward phases. There's the mullet phase where it grows faster down here than up here. Been there. There are ways around it. There's like hairstyles that you can do to kind of like accentuate and like take away from the mullet look, depending on like what style you're going for. But it can be awkward, and there's a certain length that it gets to when you can't put it up, but wearing it down is also annoying. So there are some awkward things that happen when you're trying to grow to pixie cut. So if you're doing the plunge, be aware that when you grow it out, things might get a little weird, but that's okay. It's all part of... Oh, I choked. The grow up process is something that you might want to think about. It can be weird. It can be awkward, but it is all part of the journey, and that is fun. It was fun getting to experience my hair at all lengths as an adult. I would never take back my experience with super short hair because I wouldn't be able to make this video for you right now because I would have no perspective on it. The maintenance on short hair, depending on how fast your hair grows, can be a lot or a little, but generally it's going to feel like your hair is growing super fast because to maintain shorter styles takes more work. You're going to have to, depending on what kind of cut you have, you might have to be going to the hairdresser pretty regularly unless you can kind of figure out how to do it yourself. When I buzzed my hair, I bought my own buzzer, that way I could maintain it on my own. Funny thing is, I only used that buzzer once, and then because I am the person that I am, I don't do maintenance very well. Like, if I have to maintain something, it's not going to get maintained. You know when you're like walking down the street and like you see people with like their different ferns, and like some of them are like, not ferns, hedges. There's the super neat hedge people, and then there's like the people that have the jungle growing in their front lawn. I'm more of like the jungle person, not so much a hedge person. So the same thing with my hair. Once it started to grow out, like I couldn't be bothered trying to maintain it. So depending what kind of person you are, perfect hedge person or the jungle person, this could be a problem for you. But yeah, something to consider. You will require maintenance if you want to keep your hair short for the long term. If you're just doing a big chop and you want to grow it out anyway, then like this isn't really an issue for you. The upside, now we'll get into the upside of maintenance. So the cutting maintenance is a lot more work, but the styling maintenance, like the day-to-day things, are going to be so much easier. If you're a busy person, if you don't have a lot of time, then like cutting your hair super short is awesome. I could style my hair in like 5 minutes, possibly even less when it was a buzz cut. It was the dream. It was so easy. And sometimes I think about that and I'm like, that would be really nice because I get really busy. I'm like a mom and like chasing around a baby. Sometimes it'd be like really nice to not have to like detangle a big fluff of hair. But you know what? The grass is always greener on the other side. People that have short hair, maybe they're like, look at people with long hair and say, oh, I wish my hair was long. And the people with long hair look at the people with the pixie cuts, like think, oh, I wish I could do that. And you know what? You can. Everyone can. Maybe not everyone can, but it's obviously harder to go from short hair to long hair than long hair to short hair. But that is something I definitely loved. Super low maintenance. That's why when people get older, I find that they tend to cut off their hair because it's just easier to take care of. Like if you're 100 years old, do you think you really like want to be like detangling hair that's like down to your knees? Like is that something that you're going to want to do with your life? me, obviously, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be 100 years old. I'm gonna keep my hair in a basket and I'm gonna carry it around with me. What are you gonna be when you're 100 years old? Are you gonna be the basket person or are you gonna be the pixie cut person? You'll probably be happier if you were the pixie cut person, but I don't know. I made a video on the benefits and the downsides of long hair. So pretty much all of the benefits of short hair are kind of like the downsides of long hair. And one of those are that it is so affordable to have short hair. You don't need as much product when you don't have that much hair. Your products will go a very long way, especially if you are super like not a product junkie. Like if you don't use a lot of products, you will save a lot of money on your hair care. So that is a big bonus. After I got my buzz cut, all of a sudden, hats just looked amazing on me. And when your hair is bigger, like sometimes it's awkward to wear hats. Like let me know in the comments below, do you have big long hair? Like how do you wear hats? Do you wear hats? Can you pull them off? Because I feel like it would just sit on top of your head and just look really weird. Like that's just what I'm picturing right now. So whenever I wear my wide brim hat, I always wear it in a day when my hair is super flat and not like a super voluminous day because it will not stay on my head and it just looks a little strange. And this is something that I do unconsciously, but I almost try to imitate my buzz cut on like a day-to-day basis when I'm wearing my hat. I'll always like put it in a bun and then put the hat on top and it kind of looks like I don't have hair. It's so funny. It's not even something that I really realized that I did until just now. After I got my buzz cut, I just felt like instantly edgier. It's kind of like one of my goals and like something I always strive to be like, give myself some edge because I have a really innocent, sweet face and really innocent, sweet features. So I like to balance things out with like a little bit of edge. Like that's why I'm drawn to things like septum piercings and tattoos because I feel like I like the balance. Like I like mixing like my sweetness with like a little bit of edge. And after I got my buzz cut, I just felt instantly like super edgy. And like I felt like, you know in the America's Next Top Model when like the model gets their pixie cut and they either makes or breaks them, like they either like become super fierce or like they feel really insecure about it. I felt like super fierce and super cool. Like I was really excited about that. So you feel like that might be you, like it's gonna like make you feel super ferocious and like fierce, then the pixie cut might be the life for you. For me, experiencing not having any hair was actually really good character building, and I feel like it was a really good way of kind of like building my self-confidence because sometimes we can hide behind our hair, especially if we've had long hair our entire life. Our hair can kind of be almost like a crutch sometimes. So for me, having it all taken away was kind of liberating and freeing, and I just felt like really confident, like sexy in a different way. And I just got to like appreciate different parts of like my face and like different things about myself that maybe were kind of taking like the backstage before because my hair was more of the focus. But yeah, I really did enjoy. All of a sudden, it's just like, bam, Amanda's face. Hello. Having shorter hair, depending on the kind of person you are, can make you feel more confident. So that is something that you have to look forward to. But like everything that I said, I say this again and again, it really depends on you. Having shorter hair can make you feel more confident if that's what you want, but it can also make you feel less confident if you're not confident in your haircut. So it really just depends. The haircut doesn't make you confident. You are what makes you confident. My last and final benefit of short hair is that you get to experience something that some people will never experience in their life as an adult. We all started with short hair as babies, but most of us will never see what we look like with short hair. So you get to experience like a very cool perspective, like something that some people will never do. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun, like bungee jumping or like swimming with sharks or something. Well, obviously those are like different things altogether, but I feel like cutting all your hair off is in like a similar realm of like risk-taking behavior because you know what? It takes time. Like no matter how fast your hair grows, it takes time to grow back. Like I'd say my hair is growing super fast, but it still takes time. And when you cut off a lot of hair, especially if you have super long hair, you're kind of cutting off like years and years and years of growth. And that can be kind of shocking. So if you're doing that, it's like a really intense experience and really cool to have. It was something, cutting all my hair off was something that I've always wanted to do. And once I had the opportunity to do it and like a reason to do it, I was all in. And at some point, I'm gonna make a video on why I cut my hair. I actually cut my hair off when I had locks. So I had locks and I wanted to get rid of them, and then I cut all my hair off clean. You don't, when you have locks, you don't necessarily have to cut off all your hair. You can comb them out, but I just didn't want to deal with that. But that is a whole video altogether. Let me know in the comments below, do you have short hair? Are you thinking about cutting your hair off? After watching this video, do you feel like you have a better sense of what you might want to do? And do you have any pros and cons, any benefits and downsides that I didn't mention about short hair that you want to share below? Please do. If you haven't already seen the pros and cons of having long hair, if you are debating growing your hair out, then you can head over here. I love you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it insightful and helpful. I love sharing my experiences with you. I've had a lot of experiences, especially in the hair department. I've rocked many different looks. I have a lot of different perspectives, and I love sharing what I've learned, my experiences with you to help you make the decisions that you're trying to make and just help you in general going through life together, because we're a team, we're a family, we're a community, and I love you. All right, I will see you next time. Bye.